Now, managing a business can be tricky at times because of financial discipline. Now, in a CEO interview this week, we have a man who has been tasked with managing the financial resources of one of the top and leading oil and gas companies in the world. Retired now, but he has his plan cut out. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Patrick Billy. Patrick, you're most welcome to Golf by Centrix. Let me start by asking you the question I always ask everybody who comes. Are you an avid golfer?
Yes.
How often do you play?
3-4 games in a week.
That's
about 18 whole rounds.
That's quite decent. Your handicap?
I just began golf 3 years ago. I'm a handicap 24, so I'm still working my way down.
You're working way, okay,
yeah.
Fantastic. Welcome to the show, good to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Briefly tell us just how your journey started, both personally and professionally.
Personally, I mean, I was born and grew up here in Uganda. When I was 20, I went to the UK to start studying as a certified accountant. I finished my studies in 1977 and started working. I went straight into the oil industry and stayed there for close to 40 years.
Oil and gas is, if not the next big thing, it is the big thing right now, worldwide and in Uganda, of course. How did you end up in this field?
Yeah, it was one of those things. When I qualified, I stayed on in the UK to get some work experience and went for job interviews. And as it happened, I managed to get a position with an American company called Amoco. And that's where I started my career.
You know, oil and gas companies that are coming up or struggling to come up, you have been in the finance department and you know what it takes to, you know what principles it takes to hold it up there, to keep yourself up there. What kind of motivation and advice would you have for such companies who are still trying to come up?
Yeah, I mean, the oil industry is a tough industry. It works on very slim margins. And really, in that industry, the way you succeed is by managing your costs. You know, the market is so competitive, the price is almost standard. So the competitive advantage you gain is in managing costs and managing your inventories.
And you want to think that, you know, oil and gas is one of the things that takes to build tourism in the country, takes the country to the next level, you know. Do you think we as a country, as Uganda, are on the right track?
Yes, but you know, if we're talking about particularly the upstream, that is a very long journey. You know, people think you can produce oil and gas in the next 5-10 years. It takes a long time, and being landlocked, we have challenges of getting oil to the sea to export. I mean, Uganda is not big enough to consume the oil that it produces. It needs to be exported, and that requires the pipeline which has been commissioned. That takes time. You know, in some countries, like for example in Chad, it took nearly 10 years to get the pipeline from Chad through Cameroon to the sea. So it's a long journey. It's a huge investment.
So what needs to be done?
I mean, continue doing what is being done. I mean, there's no fast tracking.
You as a person who's worked in finance in one of the largest oil companies in the world, what principles govern you? Because I'm thinking it's not easy, you know, for especially an oil and gas company to be at that kind of level and to manage their finances. It's never that easy. What principles govern you?
Two simple principles for me. Number one, beyond any principle, is integrity. If you're working in a finance role, you are really a custodian of a company's finances, and integrity is paramount. The next thing is to do what you say you're going to do. So deliver on your commitments, deliver on time, and those two to me are the guiding principles. Integrity number one, and commitment and delivery.
You talked about retirement, and you know right now you have all this free time. What do you intend to do during your retirement?
Do everything that I was not able to do when I was working. I took early retirement so that I could actually begin to enjoy the rest of my life. So that's what I intend to do: play golf, travel, bond with my family, which when I was away out of the country for several years, I really didn't have time. I've got grandchildren now, so I enjoy spending time with them.
Patrick, you talked about retirement, and it's a problem that, you know, many of us, or many of the people who are retiring, kind of fear getting into. You know, you look at it and it just doesn't look planned. Did you ever plan for your retirement?
Yes, I did, because I worked for a corporation which had a scheme, a pension scheme, and from the day I joined, I was a member of that scheme. So I knew that after a certain number of years, for me it was any amount of years, around 30, meant I could now retire with some level of financial security, not rolling in wealth, but security, financial security.
And for that person who doesn't have that kind of advantage of having the kind of pension arrangement, what would you tell them? What's your advice to them?
I think they should, yes, if you don't have a corporate pension arrangement, you can work your own pension arrangement. You work your pension arrangement by setting aside, and you set aside about 10% of your salary. In investing it maybe in land. In Uganda, because we have a very small capital market, investing in equities might be a challenge. Yeah. But some equities, some land, you know, you can start slowly a small business, which is what many people do. But find something where you can save some money, but put it in investment which will grow with inflation. And that's why property tends to be the best form of investment in an environment like ours.
All right. Before you get to the next stage, and in that kind of role, as you say, do you ever get time for yourself? And if so, what do you do with your free time?
Well, now that I'm retired, I have a lot of time. When I was working, it was a real challenge, and that's why I never got the opportunity to start golf until I retired. You know, I regret that I didn't start maybe 10 years earlier.
For the young millennials, if I may call them, who are watching you right now, and you know, they look at you and they admire your leadership skills, what advice would you have for them to keep them walking?
Let me begin by saying that I come from what they call the baby boomer generation. We were a very lucky generation. You know, I've not been unemployed for a single day. The biggest challenge I see for the millennials now is they go to university, they acquire qualifications, and then finding a job is a challenge. And it's not just here. I spent 7 years working in Lagos. The challenges in Lagos are the same. I spent time working in Nairobi, they're the same. And even in the UK, where it goes through cycles, there are times where finding jobs are difficult. You know, so that's the key thing. I think focus on getting a job, focus on building your career up slowly. There is sometimes this rush to try and get rich yesterday. Yeah. Yes, you may be able to do it, but those shortcuts in the long run, there's a price to pay. So for me, it's focus on trying to get your career, build it up with integrity, and build it up with commitment. Keep your word and keep walking Uganda.
Fantastic. Many thanks for having.
Thank you for inviting me.
Appeared on the show. We have a CEO challenge, and I'm glad you play golf 3 times a week, as you said. So this one shouldn't be a problem for you.
My handicap might show itself.
Don't worry, it's nothing serious. I'm going to take you to the par 3 hole too, and show you what it's about.
Okay.
You think you're ready?
Right.
Fantastic.
Yes. Thank you.
Inviting little chip for him.
Go.
Chipping it in. Oh my word.
All right, Patrick, welcome back from that walk.
Thank you.
Having seen some beautiful crested cranes.
Yes.
Beautiful sight, yeah?
Beautiful sight, yeah.
Fantastic. What club do you use?
I use TaylorMade.
TaylorMade.
TaylorMade, and for this kind of hole, I TaylorMade Rescue.
I hope you'll rescue. Yeah? I'll just give you a brief description and a brief background of what's been happening here. We have a leaderboard, yeah, that is currently being led by a lady, Agi Konde, who got nearest to the pin.
Okay.
Now, it is a par 3, and what we want to do today is see how closest to the pin you can get, and if you can get a hole in one, even better, you'll get a weekend at this Lake Victoria Serena Resort.
Okay.
You think you're up for it?
Oh yeah.
Let's see you
definitely.
swing some balls.
Yeah.
Then.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Woo! Nice one. That's a good one. That's a good one. For a person with your handicap, you hit the ball quite well, and you're the very few CEOs that we've had who actually used the least number of balls. But we saw you start with this, but you ended up changing. What was the secret?
The secret was actually just that the energy levels with that one I needed when I just didn't have them. So I had to get a slightly bigger club.
What's this one? What are you using?
This is an X7. It's a club I just acquired recently. It's a club designed mainly for senior players such as myself.
Well, it worked wonders for you, yeah? And I want to tell you right now that you got a score of 21.66 feet, which takes you to second on the leaderboard after Agi Konde.
After Agi?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're this close. The ball was rolling. It was this close to you getting a hole in one.
Okay. Well.
So congratulations are in order.
So I missed the lunch.
We'll think about coffee.
Okay.
But that was a good hit.
Thank you.
That was a good hit.
Thank you.
Second on the leaderboard.
Okay.
But to celebrate this achievement of you coming second, not only on Golf by Centrix, we want our CEOs to live happy, and that's why we ask you for what kind of music you like listening to.
I enjoy jazz. I enjoy rhythm and blues.
Yeah.
But I enjoy. There are two of my favorites. Both of them sadly deceased, showing my age.
Oh.
But Louis Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong.
And the second one? You said there were two.
Huh? No, Louis Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah.
Any song in particular?
Blueberry Hill.
Blueberry Hill.
Yeah.
All right. Fantastic. Well, it's been such a pleasure and an honor having you on the course. I hope we do get to have you some other time.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Fantastic.
It's a really nice venue.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having come over. Blueberry Hill is what we'll leave you with here on Golf by Centrix. Special thanks to Uganda Breweries Limited. Of course, if you like how I'm dressed today, you can head over to Matthias Schumann International down at Kisementi. Thanks to Rwandair Lake Victoria Serena Resort. That wouldn't be possible without them here today. And of course, Johnny Walker, keep walking. Till next time, bye-bye.
Doing the willows play. Yes, love sweet melody, and all of these vows we made, baby, were never to be. Though we were but yes, you part of me still. You were my thrill. Yes, Blueberry Hill. But do say, Papa do baby, Papa Papa da da yeah.
This is Golf by Centrix.